Hey guys, I'm just making a little video right now of the Red Sea tank. There is the powder blue. That is the new guy. I was saying just the other day how I basically lost my powder blue, my old one, and that I had a friend that had a big one that needed to be basically adopted and thrown into someone's tank. So I chose him to take him, and he hooked me up. Knowing right now with the times like this, powder blues and certain surgeon tanks are a little bit harder to find, but this is the new guy. So he is big, but I am gonna plan to keep him for a while. As soon as the corals grow out a little bit more, and then I'm gonna put him up for adoption and see who wants to take him in. But obviously I want to know that he's gonna be reassured that he's gonna be going into a bigger tank. So this tank is obviously filled with tangs and anthias and RedSeas and whatnot, but had a reply or basically a suggestion about my algae issues and my phosphate issues in this tank, stating that I should get rid of some of the tanks. Nope, not gonna happen. These tanks have been with me for years, especially the hippo tang and the soho tang. The hippo tang has been in the family for about 9 years. The soho tang has been for 7. Then comes the yellow tang, the flame RedSea. Those fishes actually came with those 2 tanks from the original saltwater only tank. When I did the transfer over here to the reef tank, they came along with a couple angels and another, the angels, yeah. And I basically sold them. I sold them off, and I had a powder brown that wasn't getting along with the powder blue at the time during the transfer, and I had to get rid of the powder brown also. So I did a few removals of fish, and I will not remove any more. The newcomers are basically the anthias, the foxface, the blondie naso tang, and obviously now the powder blue. The RedSeas also are new. But other than that, it seems like the powder blue is getting along with everybody. So we'll see how well he does, but he is a nice big fat guy, about 6.5 to 7 inches. So he's doing well. So let me talk a little bit about what's going on with the tank right now. Now that you know I got a powder blue going on. So as you can see, I've been having some algae issues. You can see there's a lot of hair algae growing around there and whatnot around the tank. So actually, now that I had the cleanup crew in here, I got additional more snails, astrea snails, and some scarlet crabs, blue hermit crabs, and a few other things. I do have emerald crabs. They tend to hide out a little bit more, but they actually are doing a great job. With the tangs as well, basically grazing on the rocks. They have been cleaning the rock work pretty good. This used to be covered all in hair algae. Now you can see just coral. You can still see some hair algae right there next to this guy here. So that's how it was. It used to look like that, like all around. It got pretty bad. Tried to kill some of the lighting, but then again, you know, don't want to kill it too much because of the SPS. You know, you can go dark for like a day or two, but definitely you got to have some sort of light so they don't actually start getting stressed out themselves. So this tank is about, let's say, 7 months, 8 months old. Not too long. It's getting there, but things have been going pretty well. Corals have been doing okay. I got my golden torch there now, so he's off in the corner. Zoas have been doing good. You can obviously see they're just growing and just forming into their own little colonies. They've actually been doing okay. You can see a little bit of hair algae growing on the rock work. This guy here is a fruit loops. When you can see all that hair algae right there, you can actually see them. But look at all that stuff that actually has been grazed off or actually consumed by the cleanup crew. So there's a lot of good results coming by adding more snails and more crabs, and that's a good sign, and that's a good thing. I'm a patient guy. You can see all that hair algae right there growing and stuff. I'll be plucking some stuff out, but a little irritation to my cotton candy torch coral right there. You know, he opens up pretty big, but right now he's a little bit irritated. Other than that, you can see all the other corals doing well. So if we go over here to this SPS coral right there, just a random nice blue guy. He was actually a little tiny frag, probably like about ½ inch of a nub, and now you can see him branching out, doing well, loving that spot. And he was one of the first frags I put in the tank to test the waters out. And then I put this PC rainbow frag, which you can see has encrusted and is now branching, which has some beautiful colors. You know, I wish the camera can show you the yellow and the orange tone that's actually on top of the base right there. Pretty nice. And then I got this red planet, which was a little tiny frag, came from my tank. And now he's his own little island of a crustacean, just basically in a little tiny colony himself. But he is branching out, and he's doing really well. And those 3 SPS corals that I just showed you right now, actually I put those in like the day after this tank was put together. New water, new sand, new rocks. Only reason why I did that was because I understand what it takes to basically I have a recipe that I use to get the water quality and the chemistry going like instantly. So, you know, you just have to just do your research, understand the chemistry, know the parameters, do your testing, and you can basically put frags in like within the next day. That being said, I wouldn't recommend it though. You know, if you're still learning, and in this hobby, it's constant learning. There's never a day where you're not learning, but you do want to take things slowly. Patience is the key. I simply just put frags from my own tank because I can just snap off a little piece, and if it started going well, it started going well. You know, I could have easily just spent money and bought frags, and then they could have just bleached out overnight. So me having the a par meter, and me having the you can say the test kits and everything I need to ensure that the water parameters were ready for coral, I was able to just put them in the next day. Everything seemed stable. So that being said, you know, patience is the key. I really recommend cycling a tank. You know, the longer the better before you start placing in any high-end corals and stuff like that. After when I knew things were stable, and then I started putting in this Walt Disney and a few other frags, and you know, strawberry shortcakes. Even this Bill Murray that I just put in recently is already starting to encrust on the bottom right there. This Monty Cat that I got from Vivid Aquariums was half the size. Now he's just literally starting to grow out, and he used to be on the back wall right there. Now I got him placed right next to the blue guy, and hopefully when he opens up, and it's gonna look really nice when it's all grown out, and start trimming him up. I had a Lobophilia here, but that guy actually just literally decayed. Didn't do well because of the fact that I think some worms or some sort of parasite or something went into him, and I took him out and dipped him in some RX coral dip, but wasn't able to save him. So this Lobophilia is actually doing good, and everything else actually is doing okay. Candy cane coral right there has been growing out new heads. Used to be only 2 heads, now there's about 4 or 5. Slow growing. You know, I have candy canes in the other tank that just grow freaking fast, but you can definitely see the encrusting in the SPS. There's a little piece of Walt Disney right there, which I just fragged out from that guy right there, which you can see is encrusting, and that guy's encrusting, and he's encrusting. There's those guys. That guy was just a nice little piece that I took out from my other tanks, and he's encrusting nicely, growing out. A lot of good results going on in this tank, and you know, it's just patience. Patience is the key. Lighting still the same, 360X's, 90 RedSeas. I love them. They give me good results. The lighting, the shimmer, all that's just awesome. I just love it. It's just nice. If I pull away, you can actually probably see more of the color. When I get too close, you see more of the blue light. So now I can show you a little bit of what's going on in here in the sump area. Now, it's a little dark, but the RedSea is doing really good. The protein skimmer, which I think it's the 900, that's what it's called, but it's the big boy. It's a little dark. I do have a nitrate reactor, which is doing really, really well, keeping the nitrates down to none. I do have bags of ChemiPure, which I keep right here. You can see there's one bag, and there's 2 bags in there. Now, with the filter socks that I got, I don't even switch them out. I know, why don't I switch them out? Is because of the fact that, some nitrates and some phosphates are good. Obviously, I have a little too much phosphate, but I don't need for the GFO reactor just yet, but I am thinking about it if it gets too extreme with algae issues. But so far everything has been going okay. You can see in the back over there, those are the Tunzi Auto Top Off, which is what I use, and then I have the AI pumps right there, which you can see the 2 circles. I have a UV sterilizer, as you can see right there. If I put my hand, you can see the light. There it is. Ooh. So I do run UV, which I think is needed in every tank, but it's up to you, personal preference and understanding what's needed on your tank. Every tank is different. So you can see I don't think you can see that, but let me come out here. Let me close that up. And you can see what I'm dosing. Let me just show you guys. I actually got to put a little bit more potassium in here. So I do have an emergency battery backup, an Ecotech, and I do have 2 MP40s that are running, and then I have the Vectra, which is also my return pump. And you can see my dosing units, and what I'm dosing is the RedSea A and the RedSea B, which one is calcium and one is alkalinity. I'm also dosing magnesium, sulfate, potassium, boron, iodine, agropower, manganese, and I don't know if I said potassium or not, but yep. And I got my trace elements from New Year's, which is right here, which is a nice, good thing to add. So far, everything's been doing okay. Nothing has been out of place. I know it looks like a lot from what I dose, but this does not have a calcium reactor. This is straight all dosing. There are no reactors to this. I decided not to connect the calcium reactor to this one. I just wanted to go with the RedSea regiment in a way, with the A and the B. Other than that, everything else is more Triton method. So I do my ICP test every 2 to 3 months now. I used to do it every once a month, but I decided to just hold off a little bit. Things have been stable, and I don't like chasing numbers. I just rather just see stability and keep it where it's at. So you can see here's the computer that actually controls everything, which is still the digital aquatics reef keeper. Okay, I haven't upgraded to a Neptune's or anything like that. This guy still works. I have actually 2 other units for backup in case these ones burn out for some reason, and these have been working just fine, so I just keep it where it's at. I don't need to upgrade unless I feel like it's really necessary. At this point, I really feel like it's not, so that's what I got going on here. Now for my chiller, I have a Pacific Coast Imports chiller, but I am planning to upgrade this one to the JBJ. This one doesn't seem to be handling it as well as I'd like it. There's my auto top off chamber, which is right there, my RO chamber. And I got a clear view lid from Clearview. So, or Clearview lid from, I forgot the actual maker who makes it, but I'm pretty sure you guys can do your research and find out. Sorry about that. So yeah, my AI pumps, I just cleaned this guy right here. This guy's a little dirty, so I got to do some maintenance on him. But tank has been doing pretty well. Tank has been doing good. Other than that, I just kind of leave it on its own. I don't like to put my hands in it. I don't like to play with it too much. When it comes to dosing, when it comes to everything else, just like I say, I have my own recipe that I kind of keep. Even with the other two tanks, if you noticed on my other videos, the dosing regimens are somewhat the same. Everything seems to be working fine. So as long as everything seems to be doing okay, I'm just gonna be comfortable with that and just leave it alone. Rather just look at things than continuously fiddling with everything. If you fiddle with things too much, if you start putting things out of place, you not only do not create a stable environment, but you create a stressful environment for your corals and your fish. So stability is the key. Patience is also a key when it comes to reef keeping. And just like you guys, I like to watch videos also on the YouTube. Rico's from Rico's Aquarium. He's a great guy to listen to. Saltwater Tank TV is also a good one to listen to. Reef Builders, American Reef Channel, Sanjay, Mike Paletta, all those guys. Those are all good guys to listen to. Melez Reef, I like to listen to him. He's always doing his live streams on Saturday. But lately I've been following Rico and just listening to a few things of what he has to say. But knowledge is the key. But you just want to take a little bit of that knowledge and just not adapt it to your tank, but just try to inform yourself more on an understanding of more of how a tank can stay stable. You don't want to start changing things, because if you start changing things quickly in your tank, you create instability, and your tank will not like that, especially a reef tank. If you're gonna tweak something, if you're gonna change something, small tweaks. Anything large, you can really upset your tank and crash your tank, literally overnight. So if you're gonna, like me, when I added those trace elements, I'm only starting off with 2 millimeters. It says 5 millimeters for every 25 gallons. Now I'm gonna cut that more than just half. I start off slowly. I wanna see how things are gonna react. See if there's any negative changes or positive changes. If there's positive changes, I'm gonna keep it where it's at. I'm not actually gonna dose more. I'm gonna do an ICP test in a month and a half to 2 months and just ensure that all the parameters are still where they need to be at. I have my own testings, kits in the kitchen area, which I can test out, but basically that's your basic test, like magnesium, calcium, nitrate, phosphates, alkalinity, stuff like that. So when you want to go more the extreme and understand more about what's in the water, ICP test. Do it. It helps out a lot. Makes you more comfortable with what you're looking at, rather than trying to guess and understand on what's really in there when you don't, because that's true. You won't unless you do an ICP test. So other than that, guys, stability is the key. Patience is the key. And I hope you guys are doing well with all that's going on out there. Stay safe. Be safe, and I'll post another video, one that's a little bit more detailed. I always say that, but it's like me coming back home from work and I just felt like doing one. So I'm just being for real. All right, guys, peace, take it easy, live life, and be well.